Store to continue the download from there. When you search PVATA in the App Store, you will find 3 different logos, which is normal. So you can recognize by this one, which is our inspection and audit app. Inside, it would simply mention as PVATA app. For the other 2, it's just different kind of information and features in Pivot. You can ignore them for now. So only the PVATA app directly download from the App Store. Here's also another information we'd like to identify. Version number. Based on different device and different operation system, we all know that our device or our computer time to time will upgrade different kind of security fix or bugs or another increase the security level. So that says, in order to make sure the application running smoothly on the latest OS system, either on Android or Apple, our version also will upgrade based on that. So you will always able to verify if you're on the latest version or not. Simply go to log into the platform, go into the resource download page to verify the version number. And you can also directly search in the App Store to make sure that you're the latest one. And whenever updates are available, we will always recommend to go straight into the latest version. So now that's an important part. The next step would be, since we already ran a few bookings, so now we can start the inspection from the application. So let me switch to my tablet. It will take just a minute. Okay, so to start, share my tablet screen. You can use the emoji for the thumb up to let me know if you're able to see my tablet screen. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'd like to see all this little thumb up. Okay, so if I'm using Samsung tablet as my tablet, a Samsung device. So for Samsung device, as we mentioned earlier, you simply need to log in to adidas.pvata.com, go straight into the resource download tab to download the application and install that. As I installed it before, so my logo and application directly available for me. When we first download the app, doesn't matter for Apple or Samsung or Android. The first time we open the application, the app will ask you a few questions like a pop-up. Ask for your permission in order to access your location, able to access your camera, and able to access your photo album. Whenever you see or saw this kind of message, please click yes and allow. So this will allow the application run smoothly for you and able to help you to complete the task as well. Especially, we've always recommended to using the application directly taking the photo on the first place, so you can reduce this kind of taking photo, export photo, insert photo, the task from the tablet view. So to allow the app to access your camera, it's also very important in here as well. Let me log out first, so you're able to see. Okay. So when you first open the app, what you will see is you had a version number on the left-hand corner. You had the language option on the right-hand corner. So you can switch the language before you log in, before to ask the system to recognize what's your preferred language. You can also have this kind of login, or once you log in, the system will recognize your account setting, what's your preference of the language, then it will be okay. You can also see I set a few accounts in my application to run different kind of tests. So that means also when we during the UAT phase, before we officially go live, If you had the couple members have to share a device that to complete a field trial inspection, that's totally okay. And I also understand some of our supplier, you might already have the device working for the other Pivot ATA project. Then in the same device and in the same application, it allows you to log in different credential in different server. So it can help you to continue this task as well. So as a new user for the first time logging, what you need to know, the server is just our Adidas. So the server name, just Adidas, and straightforward. Username is really based on your credential. And remember the password, we talked about it earlier. When you receive the welcome email, you will have to log into the platform, change your password before you're able to continue or log into the application. So I will log in my account. If you put in the wrong password before, or because of with different Android device keyboard, that's very important for you as well. Some of the keyboard will automatically default the first input or first digit as capital. So when we input the first time, or when you get more familiar with the new device you're using, you can using the eye icon to just double check if your input are correct or not, especially with the capital, low capital, because the password has to be isolated and separate this input. So now I know my input is wrong. So I simply just need to delete that and input the correct one. Okay, and after that, just simply click login. While we're waiting for the login, as you can see, I have few accounts already logged in before. So remember we mentioned applications benefit. If you already log into the system before and download all the inspection report, for example, like this. From that point, you carry the tablet walking around within the warehouse, within the our packaging area or our production area without internet. It doesn't really matter. You can continue the task directly on the device and without any without internet access. It's totally okay. And when your device connect back to the internet, it will take some time to upload all the information, but this action is automatically as long as your device is able to recognize the Wi-Fi and the internet connection. Same as our previous session, we will spend a quick 1 minute to quickly introduce about the app. In the application, once we log in, the first page we call dashboard. In this dashboard, which is manage all our different reports options and how many inspection report tasks that my account that need to do. Okay, so to access the menu bar, there's 3 dots on top right left corner. Once you click open, you will see the full menu list. The dashboard, which is where right now what we see, different kind of report, different tasks inside each of the report. Preference. If we do not log in any of, my bad. So when you first time log in, you will also see either it's a regular inspection or a fast inspection. So in Pivot feature, we have both options available, but for AQL outbound inspection, you will need to go through the booking steps and you will need to go in, and which is our regular booking, our regular inspection. So when we start in this process, when you log in, just remember we will need to select the regular inspection. For later on, we had different kind of process rollout based on different training and announcement. We will also show you how to use the fast inspection when we announce which process will be related to. If we forgot to select our preferred language in the first place, or during the inspection process, I like to switch different language to explain to our local user then in here you can also select the select the language accordingly. Me personally recommend to use the dark mode because it will help to maintain or keep your device battery life longer. That's my personal preference, but depends on you. There's a tips. There's also contact us for here, but most important part is about. We mentioned about the version number. Before we log in, we're able to see the version number. If during the inspection, we found out any of the process had different kind of behavior, you notice that the application wasn't performed same as before or as normal. So you like to write a message to our support@pva8.com to report this incident or report this kind of findings. What we usually ask is about your version number, because in order to understand or isolate the to quickly provide you the answer and questions and solution, knowing the right version number, it can help our support center to quickly provide the information as well. If you share account, please make sure that you if you share the device, please remember to log out before you pass the device to another member as well, because everybody will have personal credential, and that means all the activities will directly link to the user account. Okay, so since with the time being, I will quickly go into the template. As we already introduced different templates per each division before, today our focus will be again with the pass and fail logic, because after the training today, you will have the access directly log into the platform and to review all the details on each of the tag. So let's take the first close look on our footwear on the first. So to start the inspection, simply just click on the left side, which report type you like to start with the task. You can see that for me, my footwear AQL outbound, I have 3 new inspection. I have 1 started, so that means I have 4 tasks total. This task is just basically list down based on my latest booking or the priority. You had the basic information on the right. To start the inspection, simply just click open that inspection task, and inspection will be available for you. Okay, so first we have our PO and inspection details. The header information is pre-populated directly for our inspector just because the booking steps. So as we mentioned earlier with the process, with this booking steps, very simple 2 clicks. It will allow us, our inspector, to reduce all this manual input or searching information directly from the app. So you will have all the header information available as a reference, and based on different kind of setting and criteria, the color in PV88, it has different meanings. So whenever we see a blue bar, so for example, like the contact name and contact number, it's a light blue color. This light blue color only indicated as an optional field. So if you have this information, please feel free to provide. Especially we're using the same template for our supplier and also for our Adidas team member. So sometimes our Adidas team member do need to know who is their contact when they on site to inspect the product. So this will be an option for them to input the information. For our supplier, most of the time we do our self-inspection. This information might not necessarily, then you can ignore this part. The following is our validation. So with the validation information, we break down the validation list a little bit different with our previous introduction in workshop 3. But all the updates already done. Based on the criteria, we separated by general compliance and for our inspector members, you simply need to select either yes or no based after you validate the list. Please remember when you see the bright orange, it is a mandatory. That means if we do not finish all this mandatory question list and information requests by Adidas, we will not able to submit our inspection report. Okay, and there's also another part. if there was any, we talk about pass and fail logic, right? So in this particular case, any of the validation or checklist, as if we say non-conform, no, yes or no, let's take a close look on our conclusion. You can see the result is directly given as fail. That's already been defined inside the template. If everything is a yes, you can see the inspection result also automated provided as a pass. When I went to the conclusion page, you were able to see my header and my photo has a light orange color. That means these two tabs today contains mandatory information from Adidas. So we will need to finish all this information in order to submit the report, at least. So, but some of the lists you don't have it's not provided based on this particular order. Then you can also select NA if the NA option is available for you. Then for the validation checklist, you can do pretty quick and simple, and simply just click open that. Okay. You also had different kind of checklists as a yes or no. Again, all this information is going to be related to our result. I would like to try and log into the system to go into every single checklist details. Today we will more focusing in the logic, in which I will again to put extra time in here. So we mentioned again before, in the booking, in each of the division, we had different kind of sampling standard. We had also different kind of AQR standard, if I believe it's correct. So when we had the total booking quantity is like, for example, like this case is 341. In whatever the reason, this number is just not the number for me, I will need to switch to another number to isolate that. Before I save the data, you can see my sample size right now is 50. So once I click any other area of the tab, the information will be saved. Sample size number changed from 50 to 20. This information will be directly applied based on our preset standards and our sampling level. So again, our inspector no need to worry or no need to carry additional reference sheet to find out how many samples they need to pick up from the warehouse. Same thing to our carton box. For example, if I have 50, then I need to take 8, this kind of case. So the next part is regarding barcode. Remember before we mentioned, if we allow the application permission, then you were able to use the application were able to use your device camera to either scan the barcode or take in photo. So now let's take a look for how to scan the barcode. I will use this one. I will click open and, sorry, I had many devices in here. As you can see that once my device is able to scan the barcode and it can read pretty quick. Some of our clients also using this kind of feature and function to validate if our barcode print out are readable or not readable. So this is also a quick validation instead of your personal manually input all these details. That says, if I need to scan again with the same information, you can see that now the number become red. It just simply identify and tell us that this number this barcode you already scanned before, or this carton you already scanned before. So it might be a mistake, or if it's not, then you can ignore that. If it's a mistake, simply just select the recycle bin and reduce that. Whatever the number we input when we scan, inspected carton number, there's quantity. This quantity will be automatically available for us based on the data we input. If we not yet have the device available, then you can simply input the information as the barcode, manually input that, and using the plus button to save this barcode information as well. Okay, so the function is there. With the device, it's much easier and much simpler for our inspector So for the time being, it can be very fast as well. For the photos, so to take in photos, also the same thing. We have two icons in here. One is the picture, which is directly indicated. If you select that, the application will access to your device album, and so you're able to select the photo from there. Sometimes it's used for our sample, which is also okay too. We also had a camera photo, which is directly with the device camera. You can just take a photo from there. As you can see, we also identify or request for the product. The mandatory photo is going to be compare sample with our actual production product photos in here. So let's say if you have a photo, and I will take a random photo in here. Sorry about that. Then you can say apply. If you have two products on the side, you can say that this is the sample, this is the actual. You can also identify like this way. Or normally for our footwear, I know that you had the 90 days approval card directly on the sample. So make sure that that's clear instead of two exactly product looks the same in the photo. Anyway, so save it and click it. You're also able to switch the color as well if your product already red or your background already red. So please try that function and feature directly on your device. The second mandatory photo, which is the measurement, you will see the information as well. To take in photo and function and features are exactly the same. That says, besides all the regular photos that list in here, based on your experience, sometimes our inspector will understand this particular material or component are very important for the product. You would like to take additional photo. Totally okay. So there is a blue icons in the tab, low right corner. Once we click open, you will have three options. The first one, again, it's an insert photo function. The second one and the third one are using the camera. The only difference is the one in the middle, camera with a plus, that will allows you to continue taking photo without coming back to the edit mode. That says if sometimes I had different kind of, not sure if it's a good example. So I do measurement and measure, and I want to take a photo, and take a photo directly. Then in this case, you can use the middle one. Please try it out to see which one works best for you. Options are there. So now footwear is the one that has our packaging defect separated from our product defect. So in here, to collect the defect and the defect list, it's directly, remember we mentioned earlier, for footwear, packaging only had major options. So in here, you can see once a major defect located, you simply need to locate the name and then collect the number, input the number, how many defects you found, and then it will be automatically trigger our photo become mandatory. So here's the thing. Whenever you have a major defect located, and by this time, if you forget to take the photo, at the end of the conclusion, you will not able to submit the report because this is mandatory. Okay, so to identify the defect, to select the defect and collect the defect, the action are exactly the same in packaging and our product. So I will take another further explanation in product. So for footwear, you can see the defect already been identified per each of the defect category, and you also has a different kind of severity based on the defect names. So this already available. For what we need to do is simply just input how many we locate. But let's take a close look, because even though for minor, we still request for the photo as mandatory, minimum at least one photo to describe this defect. And I will do the other because I want to explain on the defect pass and file logic. So for example, right now, I have at the end of at the bottom of the list, I had a mini conclusion. This conclusion gives me, on the left side, I had different kind of severity. In the middle, it gives us what is the finding in each of the severity so far. So I had 1 major, 3 minor. On the right-hand side is based on our sampling and our AQR level. The system will automatically give us how many defects in which severity level that I'm able to accept or reject. So in here, based on my number is 20, the sample size, and then my never accept any critical, major is 1, minor is 1 as well. You can also see the total defected units right now. It automatically sums up for all the defects that we locate. This is reflecting to our presentation earlier. For our footwear team, whenever we found a defect in a pair of shoes, you will record as, remember this one will be directly entered as a pair of shoes with that severity, the most important defect. Okay, so the number will be automatically summed up for you. So you can reduce the timing. Later on, I will also show what is the difference for apparel and A&G. To continue with the defect, we had a very long list in for our product. In order to quickly locate the defect, rather than to find out which defect category and the name, there's a search function. On the top right corner, you can see a search logo, a magnifier to look closely. Sharp edges, maybe? Okay, sharp pieces. So as you can see, because of the label is on the English, even though I didn't finish input the wording, partial of the word match, the system will quickly help us to come up with a list of the match of the research. So inside the shoes, I have a sharp piece. For upper, I also had the sharp edges available. And then for the other, okay, so at least you're able to quickly isolate the list and come up and can input the information quicker. So for now, my finding is inside the shoes. I can quickly input it like this to continue. So the search function can help us to save a lot of time if you are